Time to answer a few questions. And I must say, well, that's probably moved to China, moved to Shanghai. I remember being a little bit scared on the plane and feeling like I was doing something very big. It felt very adventurous for sure. Another adventurous memory that comes to mind would be one time when I visited Beijing and I really wanted to see the Great Wall of China. I felt like this was my only chance. And I had a flight the same day. So what I did is I actually booked a car at 4:30 a.m. and drove to the Great Wall from central Beijing and climbed the Great Wall. It was amazing. I was there all by myself early in the morning. I think it was about 6 a.m. by the time I was there. And then I went back and made it to my flight on time. Very well worth it. That was very adventurous. So I must say I prefer self-study. I think that there's many perks of working in groups. It's definitely great for tasks that involve a lot of dynamic communication or dividing tasks up or staying on the same page. But I must say that for me, I really do my best work alone, distraction free. I like to be in a state of intense focus. I like to practice deep work, which is a very interesting theory developed by Cal Newport. I'm currently reading his book right now entitled Deep Work, and he talks about basically the theory of maximizing your ability through really creating a condition where you can get really your best work done, getting the best work you can possibly get done. And so for that reason, I prefer self-study. Well, I must say, I actually do have a little bit of a celebrity look-alike. People often tell me that I look like Anya Taylor-Joy, who plays Beth in The Queen's Gambit. And I have to say, I kind of see it. And funny enough, I really love to play chess as well. The answer is definitely yes. I feel so lucky to be living here in China, in Shanghai. I love my life here, and I've definitely made myself at home in Shanghai. I honestly feel like the idea of visiting America now would actually feel like visiting a foreign country just because I'm so at home here. But I gotta say, living outside of the US has taught me so much about the world and just our place in it and just how the world works on such a larger macro scale. And at the same time, it's allowed me to see different ways of living, different customs, different foods, very up close and intimate and personal as well. So many touching moments I think you can derive from living abroad. And I've always been a very adventurous person. I really love trying new things, especially food. But I do believe that when you make this long-term commitment to live in a foreign country, it's not just like an adventure, actually, despite one of my previous answers. I think moving to a foreign country is a really beautiful thing. I think your mindset shifts to be more open and accepting to new experiences and culture, which has been a very profound shift, a very profound experience for me. So I'm very thankful to be here. I highly recommend, if anyone ever gets the chance to live in a foreign country, study the local language and really live with the locals. I highly recommend doing it. I think it's a very rare, special thing that we have the ability to do in our modern day and age. And if you can take advantage of that, I highly recommend it. I'm very glad I have myself. Well, 我可以讲一点中文，其实我的中文还好了。I think I'll give my answer in English if that's okay. But yes, I do speak English and Chinese. I actually started taking Chinese in high school and continued it in college for several semesters before studying abroad in Taiwan for the first time. And that Taiwan trip was actually my first time ever leaving the US, and I gotta say that's when I really found Chinese as a passion. I really thought it's so incredible to be able to talk to people you otherwise really wouldn't be able to, and to really like live in the language and feel the language and speak Chinese. I think it's just a really cool feeling. It's a lot of fun. And I gotta say, so many people in China are so supportive and very friendly and encouraging, which has just made the experience all the more delightful. And I think that Chinese characters are very beautiful and fascinating as well. And even just the combinations of words or the sentence structure has a lot of meaning, a lot of connotation. I think language is super fascinating. And I feel very lucky to have this incredible language in my back pocket and to be able to live here and actually use it on a daily basis. Very cool. Never expected that when I was studying in high school. But yeah, well, I Zhong Wen. Well, my first ever job I had in high school, and I actually worked at a Hollister in Dallas, the store. So I spent hours folding and working the cash register and stocking things in the back room, which was definitely actually a really fun experience. And also learned a lot. But my first my first ever professional job was actually in Shanghai. And after I graduated college, I moved here within actually just 1 week of graduating, and I started work at a Chinese ad agency. And believe it or not, I was one of the only foreigners there, certainly the only Western English speaking employee. And other than that, it was a completely Chinese company. So that was a super cool experience. And I learned so much, not only about the industry and advertising and marketing and brands and clients and consumer culture in China, but it was also really cool to work in the Chinese office environment and really make true friends with my colleagues and also learn a lot about professionalism along the way. Well, the statement that best describes my personality, I think, is one that my dad actually told me growing up as a little kid. He would always say, work hard, play hard, and never give up. And I think that those words really describe my outview on life now. I think it's important to work super hard, give it your all, but also give it all into your passions. Play hard, just have fun, and of course, never give up. So I really love that phrase, work hard, play hard, and never give up. Thanks, Dad. I'll remember that forever. My favorite social media, I think, is TikTok and Douyin. And I gotta say, I really like those platforms because I think they're super creative and authentic. And I really love the idea of people building a community of niche hobbies and interests with the video format. I think it really opens up creativity and it really creates this space where you can show off your skills and talents. And I feel like so often when I'm on those platforms, I see these very normal looking people who are so funny or who are so talented or so good at singing or so smart or just have something interesting to say. And I feel like TikTok with the algorithm, and the interface design, really encouraging you to become a creator yourself. I think those things about it make it really special, and that's why it's my favorite. Chinese social media, which is pretty cool. I would say my favorite part about being a writing master teacher would definitely be working with the students and really talking about the ideas. I really love the brainstorm process. I really love discussing an article or a source and picking their brains and really wrapping our heads all around a topic. And oftentimes my students have really smart, very witty perspectives on the issue, and they make me change my mind and get me very passionate myself about what we're talking about. And so it leads to these really cool, fun conversations. And then it's, of course, very rewarding to see that translated into the writing. And I really love giving feedback and editing writing with my students and really seeing them apply the things that I say to them, and I can really see them grow. And then, of course, at the end, we have this beautiful piece of writing. So I guess Actually, what do I enjoy most? I really love the whole process. I think I just described the whole process. But yeah, I love the brainstorming. I love seeing my kids apply corrections. And then I love, of course, reading the final outcome as well. When I was little, I actually thought I was going to be a Broadway performer. And that's what I really loved to do growing up. I loved to be in musicals. And then when I was choosing my major, I was very close to choosing theater, but I had a passion for psychology as well. And I thought that might be a safer choice. But really it was super interesting, and I'm really glad I majored in psych. So then once I started being a psych major, I thought, okay, I'm gonna be a professional therapist. A psychologist, if you will, or a psychiatrist even. And I really thought I was gonna be, giving people therapy. And then I kept going throughout life and discovered new passions, and really my passion for Chinese developed, and I visited Taiwan, and I got really interested in consumer culture. And so then I changed my idea, what do I want to be when I grow up, and decided, oh, I want to be a marketing professional, a global marketing professional. And wow, here I am. But no, I certainly never predicted that I would be here before college, or just thinking about what I wanted to do. Yeah, definitely thought I was going to be a Broadway performer. Well, I'm secretly very good at making quesadillas. Quesadilla is a Mexican dish. It involves a flour tortilla and cheese and another flour tortilla. But actually, if you're good at making quesadillas, you'll add a few other ingredients, but I can't tell you because it's my secret skill. But yeah, basically anyone who knows me probably wouldn't know that I'm good at this because I almost never cook. But when I do, I make quesadillas and I make them very well. Well, right now in my work, I do a lot of consumer research for projects, marketing projects, branding projects. And for a marketing professional, for someone who works in advertising, it's very important that you do your research on today's culture. You always want to keep a pulse on the culture. And I do a lot of insight digging, and actually this ends up maybe in writing that I'll do. I might write a report for clients, or I might put together a presentation and write the presentation. And how long does this take me? Well, hours and hours and hours. But honestly, it's really a lot of fun. You get to learn more about the world, learn more about our culture. Pop culture or consumer insight, learning about people is something I, of course, really love. And yeah, I would definitely say the research skills, the writing skills, the creative skills, they're all very actively engaged. So I'm very lucky to have a very stimulating research in my job. I love this question because I'm a psych major, so there's a lot of psychologists that I really like. I really like many researchers and theorists, many of which I've learned about in college. So it's a little bit hard to choose, but one that would stick out would definitely be Albert Bandura. He's a very famous classic psychologist, particularly in the field of social psychology. Very interesting theories. Social psychology was one of my favorites. Another one of my favorites is Jean Piaget, who developed the theories in developmental psychology, the stages of development. And I think those stages are very interesting to read about. I really love his theories, and developmental psychology in general is another one of my favorites. Another name that comes to mind would be Robert Cialdini, who has done a lot of work in persuasion and influence, which is very relevant to the field of marketing, believe it or not. So a lot of consumer psychology pieces of information, very useful from Robert Cialdini. He's another one of my favorites. And these are all people that I studied in college, but I gotta say, my personal favorite psychologist right now, and maybe will be my favorite for a long time, would be Carol Dweck, because she wrote one of my all-time favorite psychology books called Mindset. Her theory that she has developed over her career is called the growth mindset. It's all about the way we look at our skills and ability and the way we assess ourselves and the way that we always have the ability to see potential for growth. And I highly recommend her book if you're looking for one to read. Her theory has been very influential, I would say life-changing in my life, and I could feel my mindset shifting after reading her work. So yes, I guess even though I love all the classics, all the ones I've learned in school, my favorite must be Carol Dweck.